Hey guys, welcome to Bar Z. My name's Stan, and today I'm doing a little grinding, and we're doing some kind of specialty work. It's not really flat work. Let me show you what we're up to here. I'm grinding up to an inside corner right here and creating that little relief groove for the inside corner. Now that's all grind. There's no milling or anything involved when we're over on the milling machine. And I'll show you what what this looks like right out of the gate. Here's one that has not been ground yet. There's one that has been ground. So this little inside corner here has just got a very rough milled surface. It's got a corner radius on it. It's pretty hard to explain what's going on in such a tiny little spot. I think it's better if we go over to the whiteboard and draw some pictures. It always helps me understand. Hopefully it helps you too. So let's go over the board and we'll talk about shaping the wheel, how to work your way into a corner, how to do the plunge cut, how to do the wall cut, because you're cutting in two different directions. So let's go over there and talk about how we create that inner corner. Hey guys, welcome to the board. And we're going to go over some of the shaping of the wheels. I've got some stuff drawn on the board. I got the type of wheel I use and how we shape the wheel and how we make the cut to keep the temperature down and keep from burning the part. It's very easy to burn the part when you're side wheeling. So first of all is wheel selection. In the Engineer's Black Book, there's a section on grinding. And what's nice about this is it helps you select grinding wheels here. You got the types of wheels over here, so you got all the shapes of wheels over here, but then it's got a common nomenclature for wheel selection without all the manufacturer's part numbers and embellishments being thrown in there. So it's got the grades of wheels and stuff in there. So it helps you make a selection on your wheel without getting sucked into the Norton nomenclature or the Radiac nomenclature, you know, all these other brands. So it doesn't really pull you into that. So that's what's nice about the quick reference in the Black Book. And the wheel we chose is a Type 13, which is a right down here on the bottom. That's a plate type wheel. So it's a Type 13 wheel, and they start off with a 32A. Now don't confuse that with grit and hardness. That's a type of wheel. 32A, according to this, is a strong, sharp, monocrystalline aluminum oxide. 32A is very common, a very commonly used wheel. The one we used over there is actually a Norton 32A. So that's the type of wheel, and it actually describes the type of grit and some of the structure. 46 is my hardness, or 46 is my grit, and K is my hardness. I chose a fairly hard wheel. It's, you know, it goes from very soft to medium to hard to very hard. The harder the wheel you get, the less actual cutting teeth you have in there. So the hard wheels tend to run, they'll run hot because they just don't have the grain. They've got an awful lot of bonding agents, but very little of the actual cutting. So if you get a hard wheel and it runs hot, that's why. You can only take the finest of cuts with those hard wheels, but they last a long time. So let's talk about the dress, what we do to that dish wheel. First of all, our work is here. This is before, and this is after. And what we want to do is we want to create a relief on an inside wall here, and make a nice sharp inside corner with a relief. So if you're measuring something, a burr can drop in that hole and make sure we've got a nice sharp corner. First thing we do is we take the Type 13 wheel, which is dished, and actually I put it on backwards on my machine. So this is the operator side out here, and this is the spindle side or the tower side in here. And I can put my work down on the mag, put it up against a fence, so I've got an index surface and make sure I'm running parallel. Now as soon as before I put my work down, I'm going to come in here with a tangent dresser and I'm going to cut this back. I only cut this back 1 degree. This is exaggerated here, but this angle right here is 1 degree, right here. So it's not a large cutback, you know. Just it's all I'm doing is taking that radius and tangent dresser, just tipping it back 1 degree and skimming that surface there. The bottom, I run a diamond across it dead flat, and up this back side, I run it straight up vertical. So I've got 2 90-degree sides, but that one back side is just tilted back just 1 degree. This enables me to get all the way down, down in the corner, and make sure my surface is very vertical, and I'm making the cut all the way down into that trough. Now let's talk about how we, how do we go ahead and cut it? We're all set to cut, we're set up, and we don't want to burn up the wheel, and we want to get as many parts out of our dress as we can, and we want to reduce heat first and foremost. The heat's going to build up very rapidly. First thing I do, I get the wheel set where the bottom is only, let me erase some of this. I'm going to erase the before here, and then we're going to turn it into an after. We're going to make this part match that one. So I get my wheel just touched off. Just touched off on the bottom and the front. And at that point, I'm going to pull my table back this direction. So I'm pulling the wheel into the work. And I'm going to run side to side, but I'm not going to do any plunge cuts. I'm not going to go down at all. I'm going to bring it straight in. So all I'm doing is traveling this direction with the wheel and taking my work this direction. So I'm going to run that in and keep traversing until this vertical surface is clean. And I see it's got a good cleanup, or I'm to spec, or if I'm actually measuring something on my little squares, I just make sure I just run it till I've got a full cleanup. Now after that, we've run back and forth. We've got it clean, but we've already created an inside radius. We've already got an inside radius there from the milling. This little sharp groove right here, and we've taken some of it out, but not all of it. We still need to plunge to create that nice sharp inner corner. So what do we do next? Next thing I do is I'm going to back out. I'm going to pull my work this direction, effectively pulling my work this direction, and I'm only going to do it 1/1000th of an inch. And now I've created some clearance here to this face, and I'm ready to plunge. I've already got my dial set. After I've touched off here on this large surface, I've got my downfeed dial set to 0. Now I'm going to plunge, and I only take it down about 20 thousandths. You don't generate that much of a radius on those grinder wheels. So at this point, I've already backed out my 1/1000th. Get that out of there, get that out of there, get that out of there. Okay, wheel comes down, or work comes up, and I take that 20 thousandths, 020. So now I've worked the wall, pulled back, I've plunged, I've made this groove right here, and now all that's left to do is I need to step, third step. When you come back, now we're going to bring the wheel back in this way and the work back out that way. And it's not going to be much. It's only going to be a thou or two until you're clean again. And we're just going to do it again until clean. What you'll see in there, down in this groove, as you've developed your groove, you're actually going to see a little step right here where you backed off that 1/1000th of an inch. You will see that little step in there, and after you've plunged, you're going to just stay at that depth, and now you're going to work your way back in this way, a thou or two, until you see that little step disappear and you get a clean grind across the entire face. And we've just created that. You know what's important on little fussy stuff like this? Man, you got to be able to see. These are Coke bottle. I guess you can see my magnification there. These are Coke bottle safety glasses. I recommend everybody get something like this. You got to be able to see, and just the slight variations when you're making those passes. You want to be able to see the grinding hash marks on there and be able to tell when you've made a full clean and when you've created that inside corner. All right, I hope this helps a lot of people out. I've gotten a lot of emails regarding grinding up to an inside corner, and this is my wheel selection, this is my dressing technique, and this is what's worked for me. You know, if you've got a better idea or you've got another way of going about it, you know, shoot me an email or leave a comment down below. I'll be happy to discuss it with you. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Okay, I thought I'd do a little voiceover here. And you can see I'm just barely touched off on the surface. But if you look at the back fence, you'll see a very thin silver line where I've just touched the corner radius of the milling work. And I'm going to work my way back into that wall. And you're going to see that little silver line get bigger and eventually completely disappear. Still running dry here, and we're just touching off. But that little corner radius, the milled corner radius, is going to start ramping up here pretty quick. We got a little coolant going now, and you can see that little silver line getting bigger and bigger as we pass by. You can still see the hardening scale and everything in black above the silver line, but it's getting worked out there pretty quick. I'm only doing about 1/2,000 step overs to grind that wall. Now I'm pulling the table back and I'm getting set up for my plunge cut. There's a pass with no contact. Do a quick inspect, make sure the wall's clean. And now we're going to start plunging. We're going to go down 20 thousandths and create the groove, but we are 1/1000th away from the wall. And again, these are about 1/2,000 step downs. These aren't monster cuts. You've got a very thin, very fragile edge of your wheel. You don't want to take a lot off, and you don't want to build up any heat. Just flood it hard with coolant and make your plunge. Nice slow pass, make sure it's sparked out. Now we're going to work our way back into the wall. You can probably see that little step I was talking about. And we're just working our way into the wall and getting a final clean on that. Couple of little spark out runs here. In there and look at what's actually going on. I don't need my Coke bottles. Oh wow, Ace Ventura called. He wants his hair back.